TNT Sports back at Richmond. Pressure on the drivers. How about the pressure on the pit crews? Jeremy Mayfield's guys got it done.
Kenny Francis, crew chief, Jacksonville, Florida.
Bob Downs, front tire carrier, Homedale, New Jersey. Dana Worthing, front tire changer, Lincoln, Maine.
Rick Pennington, jackman, Oakland, California.
Brent Wentz, rear tire carrier, Lehighton, Pennsylvania.
Mike Janssen, rear tire changer, Sibley, Iowa.
Tank Probus, gasman, Louisville, Kentucky.
Rich Muckenthaler, catch can, Turner, Michigan.
Greg Miller, pit crew coach, Akron, Ohio.
They're from all over the place, aren't they? But they got the job done best on that last set of pit stops and got Jeremy Mayfield out in front of the field.
I love that jackman, Rick Pennington. He's left-handed and looks like that really helps in their stops.
Now, inside of the lead lap cars, Dale Jarrett, first one lap down, hoping for a quick caution to get the free pass to Lucky Dog to come back around and rejoin a chase for a good finish and keep his championship chase dream alive. Dale Jarrett running in 26th place right now. First car one lap down. Only a few pitted under this last caution flag. Lead lap cars that stopped: David Green, Joe Nemechek, Jamie McMurray, Casey Kane, Terry Labonte. They are all from 19th place on down.
We may hear from them later.
Yes.
They have come in and put tires on, and possibly for the last time.
It sounds kind of silly saying that at 235 laps to go, but if this race runs green for a long time, and you might only have one pit stop left later, they might have to play some strategy if they're desperate. Dave?
Alan, I checked with the crew with those tires when they came off the car. There was a lot left in them. And remember, I talked about how they tested here to work on lessening the tire wear. Boy, have they hit it.
So Mayfield holding off Kurt Busch for now as they dice for the lead. You can see they've separated themselves from the traffic. Got another one dusting off the upper lane. That's Ward Burton in the 0.
We have seen that about 5 or 6 times tonight. They just get down into the corner, and then all of a sudden they just shoot up the racetrack like they've hit ice.
Oh, a little traffic jam there. We talked about Casey Kane pitting under this caution flag. Matt, he's way back in 24th place.
Jeremy's in the green, Casey's in the yellow. Restart at 24th, but he's riding along. Now Tommy Baldwin pitted him under that caution. Casey feels like he's losing too much ground on the racetrack. Once the pressures do build up, the car really comes in, but he loses so much track position, it's tough to make that up. Then they brought him back down pit road because under the low pressures, Casey says the car is bottoming out. They just want to make sure, BP, it wasn't the oil pan that was hitting.
Oh, yeah, because that's about the first thing that hits on these cars. They made everything to go up and get off the racetrack, but the oil pan, the engine has to stay there. And if the oil pan touches, it's going to knock a hole in it.
Uh-oh, trouble in 2.
Got a big one, big stack.
Oh,
who got caught up?
Almost got it.
21 is in there.
Casey Kane got through. The car against the outside wall to your left is Scott Wimmer, and the one to the right is Ricky Rudd.
Looks like.
And by the way, while we were getting the pit report on Casey Kane, Carl Edwards passed Dale Jarrett. And so Carl Edwards is the lucky dog at this caution. Jarrett still trapped a lap down.
Well, first thing I do is get that 88 car working better, because that's their biggest problem.
All right, what made this mess?
Looks like the 27 is going to get in the back of the 77.
Something happened to the 77. It appeared, something had happened in front already.
Yeah. They were checking up.
That's
just accordion.
Sorry, while David Green 27, Brendan Gaughan 77, Greg Biffle with the National Guard car all caved in.
A lot of damage that 16 car. Yeah, the 22 car, we haven't seen him wreck yet.
Man, up ahead, back it way down, clear, low, 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 low. Gas it, there you go, clear. You okay?
Yes would be the answer, as Nemechek's driven through it. Greg Biffle, though, is not. And we're under caution for the 6th time tonight here in Richmond. Green flag in the air as we come back to Richmond International Raceway on TNT. None of the leaders pitted. A couple of cars toward the end of the field with accident damage did. That story in a minute. Once again, Dale Jarrett finds himself the first car one lap down, trying to keep Casey Mears in that 41 behind him in case a quick caution comes out. And once again, it doesn't look like it's going to work.
Now, like I said, that 88 car has got to get handling better. or none of this is going to do him a whole lot of good. He drove the 41 up the racetrack there. He is doing everything he can to try to be in that position, a lucky dog, but the car is just not handling.
Oh, there we go again. Oh, 88 gets in the 41, almost turns it, but not quite.
So, Dale Jarrett's struggle continues.
And Jimmy Spencer got by both of them in the 4 car.
To become the first car one lap down.
Exactly, to become the lucky dog.
Well, actually, 4 and 41. Spencer and Casey Mears, they're racing for that spot there, VP. And there may be a little sheet metal traded there, too. Rusty Wallace is the 4th place car in the 2.
And the 3 wide.
Ay,
is right.
And this isn't even for the lead.
No, this is just to stay 1 lap down behind the leader.
Yeah. NASCAR sending a warning from race control to the drivers. Oh, 41 that they needed to settle down. And here we go. Dale Jr.'s in it. Jimmy Johnson.
And Mark Martin's in it.
Mark
The 6
Martin
car
has spun. I don't think he got hit.
And he continues on. I don't know how much damage he has.
Yeah, I just don't.
And welcome into the 400-point number with Jimmy Johnson, because look at the damage on the nose of the 48.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
If Jeff Gordon has troubles later tonight, that could bring that 400-point number into play as far as drivers that get into the chase for the championship.
Oh, boys, I can't go anywhere.
It won't roll. Exactly right, Jimmy. So he may come out there sometime tonight, but he's going to be many, many laps down. Look at the damage on that car.
Going to be some hot drivers over that one, because that was pretty uncalled for. I mean, the 4 cars trying to race Casey Mears, and that, I mean, that was just uncalled for.
Internally.
It says he's a tad ticked off.
Yeah.
Championship leader starting the race, Jimmy Johnson, with a mangled race car just past the start-finish line before we've even gotten to halfway tonight. You know, we talked about setting the 400-point aside for a minute. We talked about building momentum for the final 10 races.
All right. The word is they're parking the 4 car, and I agree with that decision, because I'm sorry, but I just think that could have been avoided, and it took a lot of good race cars out, and I'm glad NASCAR is making that call.
So Jimmy Spencer being sent to the garage area. You know, the officials talked about in the drivers' meeting earlier tonight, there's been a lot of discussion over how they would officiate this race with so much scrutiny on this chase for the championship and what was at stake and so forth. They talked that they would, well, first let's take a look at what happened.
I never see Jimmy Spencer in the 4 car just come up and get in the 41 car and kind of turn him around. There's Jimmy Johnson. He runs into, who's he going to hit? The 25. And Jeff Gordon somehow gets through this.
And Mark Martin.
You got a lot of guys in that top 10 of points right there. Dale Jr. got turned around. Mark Martin really dodged a bullet on this deal. This could have cost him a shot at that top 10 right there.
It's Mark and Dale Jarrett that bounced off each other a little bit.
Dale Jr. has some pretty serious damage on that 8 car. And Brian Vickers' 25 car, a lot of damage.
A lot of good race cars tore up in that deal.
Coming at you. With Rusty Wallace.
Still there. Clear. And behind you. Oh, wow.
Wow is right.
And from Dale Jr.'s view, this won't be pretty.
Go low, go low, go low.
Steve Meal, the spotter for Dale Earnhardt Jr., trying to tell him to go low, but it was already too late. Mark Martin.
Stay in front of you. Stay low. You're okay. All right, stop right there. Keep going. Right there. Outside. You're outside.
And this is with Jimmy Johnson.
Our camera's going to get killed, I'm afraid.
We've been talking about this camera all year.
In front of you. Stay low.
There it goes.
Yep, camera's gone.
and the radiator and a lot of the front suspension on the 48 car for Jimmy Johnson.
And his patience. Oh, that's too bad.
Pit road has been closed. NASCAR talked about, Mike Helton, the president of NASCAR, got up and addressed the drivers' meeting earlier, and I spoke with NASCAR's Vice President of Competition, Robin Pemberton, about how they'll deal with officiating this race in the final 10. Basically, their answer is like we have the first 25 races, but if anything is out of order, we'll act appropriately. Bill?
Mark Martin, in a very calm voice, says, I believe the car's okay. His spotter looked at it, and so did crew chief Pat Tryson. They all said it looks all right. So this is going to be a 4-tire change, no adjustments, except they're going to sticker tires. They've been running scuffs throughout the race, so it's sticker tires for Mark. In front of him, Jeff Gordon is also on pit road. Gordon, a 4-tire change, not believed to have any damage to that car either. They look at the grill, they give him his tires, he's on his way. His car just is not handled very well.
Looks like they might have made a change on the left rear of that 24 car, Bill, some kind of chassis adjustment. Dave?
Well, the 88 car of Dale Jarrett obviously needing work, as we have noticed. Dale said the same thing. We need to come in and work on this thing. We can't get a lap back like this, so they're going to pit this time. They're suggesting maybe they make a wedge and a left spring adjustment on the car. DJ may be looking for some track bar to that wrench going in now, so that's a track bar adjustment. Just going to try to work around this car, find a chassis setup that'll make him fast enough at least to get back on the lead lap.
And they got some pretty good damage to the front fenders. They've got to fix on both sides of the car as well. You see a lot of attention to the lower corner of that right front. Dale Jr.
Looked like he got banged up pretty good in the left rear. I don't see much damage on the right side, but
that just came out of Junior's car.
A crush panel?
Looks like it.
If it is, that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, crush panel. That means he'll get a lot of exhaust inside that car.
Crush panel, the aluminum that they use to make the fender wells and seal up the inside of the car, Matt.
And that's where they're working on the right rear back there, trying to repair that.
Well, Alan, this is the second stop down pit road for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They took a look at the damage and made some small minor repairs on the first stop. They brought him back in this time. They did have some huge pieces of tape just in case it needed to make some big band-aids on that car. They gave him the easy okay.
Marty Snyder is with Jimmy Johnson.
And he's come from the infield care center fine. What started all that, Jimmy?
Just a bunch of idiots. I mean, I don't know what the 41 did to make the 88 and the 4 so mad. I'd find it hard to believe he got both of them upset at him. But for about 3 laps, the 88 tried to wreck him, and he couldn't get it done. And then the 4 went up there and tried, and finally got it done. I mean, he was chasing him from the bottom of the racetrack all the way up to the marbles trying to wreck him. I don't understand why or what, but, you know, this is the way this point system works. You've got desperate guys doing desperate things. And, you know, this can happen at Homestead. And that's the one thing I don't like about the point system is that you can have somebody acting like this and take you completely out of a championship. And we put too much hard work and effort into this to have something stupid like this happen. So we'll just roll on. Hope Lady Luck's on our side from here on out.
It was in no way targeted at you, was it?
I have no clue. I mean, I was so confused as to why they were trying to wreck for so many laps. And then they finally did. I'm really curious to watch the tape and see what happened.
Jimmy, coming in, the championship leader will lose a lot of points tonight.
A lot of folks involved in that crash. Spencer, Martin, Jr., Mike Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Brian Vickers, Sterling Marlin, Casey Mears, Jimmy Johnson, and DJ. No, I think I answered the question. That wreck was not directed toward Jimmy Johnson.
No, it was definitely, yeah. It wasn't directed at Jimmy Johnson. It was directed at somebody else, and he was driving a 41 car.
So Jimmy Spencer and Casey Mears tangle, the result a 10-car pileup that claims 2 of the top 3 in the championship standings and sends the 3rd down through the grass.